one way or another. But what are the best pairs, PulseChain? So what are the best pairs you think would be worth the most and worth the least on PulseChain? Like, what is the case for certain coins being worth a lot and then certain coins being worth nothing?
Okay, yeah, I gotcha. Oh yeah, I remember this question. Okay, so I'll go through a couple scenarios to kind of outline my thinking on this because it's variable depending on the type of token and the utility that it has, as well as how it's performing right now. So let's start with the first scenario of a coin that is struggling on Ethereum that would probably not do well on PulseChain. And the example I'm going to give is Celsius. So Celsius, their economic model is that the CEL token is essentially a endpoint of value accrual for their people who stake on their platform if they earn and sell. So like they take their yield and the yield that they would be getting of like Bitcoin, if they choose to earn and sell, they would take that Bitcoin, buy, sell off the market, and then you get a higher APR. You get a higher APR if you earned and sell that way. And so all of that yield would find its an endpoint in the sell price, and the price would go up. Well, through a lot of factors that we don't have to get into now, Celsius as a company and the CEL as ERC20 is having a lot of trouble. So they have a lot of work to do to get both their company back up and going and get investors back in, as well as getting more people on the platform. And they have a lot of work to do in regards to the design of their token. And that's just on the Ethereum side.
Richard is very unhappy with them.
Yeah. He's been a pretty outspoken against them, especially, not your keys, not your crypto principle. It kind of violates that. That's a whole different discussion. But the reality is Celsius as a token and as a company is struggling right now to survive. And so because of that, because they have so much work that needs to be funneled into one token, like if it gets split into two, like I just don't see it. Like they're already kind of failing on one side. I don't see that second one having any kind of value, and they need to really focus on the thing that already exists before that token goes over. So that's one example of a type of token that would probably not accrue or hold any value on the other side. Now let's take another example. Let's take an example of a coin that I actually like that's doing well on Ethereum right now, and that's Illuvium. So Illuvium is the first attempting to be the first AAA blockchain game where like the assets on the game are NFTs and you can trade them, lands or NFTs, etc., like that whole stuff. The game isn't out yet. They have their first land sale on June 2nd in like 2 days. The game's looking great. They have a solid community. Progress is being made. The token has had good price appreciation. It's doing well on Ethereum, but its utility is based on the Ethereum network in that the game is probably not going to be on PulseChain. So the token is a governance token that has the ability to earn yield both through staking it as well as something called revenue distributions. So a percentage of the income or a large percentage of the income that's generated from the game goes directly into buying the Illuvium token and distributing it to the stakers, which I think is a really cool model. However, when it gets copied over, because the game exists on Ethereum, runs on immutable X, and is not built on the PulseChain, none of that value being funneled into the ERC20 is going to reach the PRC20. So here you have a situation where there's an ERC20 that has signs of success, is currently doing well and growing, yet because of its fundamental utility, being a game that exists on top of Ethereum, technically on immutable X, which is built on top of Ethereum, that doesn't translate over to PulseChain unless they start building on PulseChain and give it utility. Okay, so that's another situation where something may not accrue value because their utility doesn't translate over to a system state copy. Now, there's another one, and this falls into the category of DeFi protocols that have been hindered by the Ethereum gas fees. So like Aave, any kind of staking protocol, Liquidity. Now, for some of these protocols I listed, we have forks that have already been marketing to the Hex community, and their PRC20 copy will probably not survive because somebody is basically beating them to market.
Liquid loans being Liquidity.
Yeah, liquid loans, fiat. Liquid loans is Liquidity, and then fiat is Aave. But the principle still stands for anything that anybody may be in specifically. So you have projects that fundamentally are good, but died on Ethereum because the gas fees killed them. You can't develop, people can't participate. Like if you get $20 of yield, but it takes $100 to pull it out, like what's the point, right? Like this happens. And a lot of innovation has been halted and died because of those gas fees. That's a situation where something that has died on Ethereum may actually flourish on PulseChain because of the gas fee factor. Okay, so that's all all of that on the Ethereum, and that's kind of like plus minus 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 plus kind of thing. Now there's something a neutral coin, a coin that is almost like a 50-50 flip and or may see success on both chains. And the example I use for that is Shiba Inu. So Shiba Inu, meme coin, it has some staking features on it, but the marketing towards the Shiba Inu community has actually worked, where I know that people in their community are aware of PulseChain and are interested in their free copy. So some of them, because it's a meme coin and because it has a pretty fervent community and the marketing towards them has worked, there's a chance that even though it doesn't have any like fundamental utility behind it, and it's just purely social consensus and a function of supply and demand for the price, it may retain some value because marketing towards them has worked and they're interested in free coins. So like, who knows about that? Now we move to the other side, another set of coins, and this is the Richard Heart ecosystem coins. And the first one is Hex. And the thing that Hex has going for it is that the creator of PulseChain is the same person who created Hex. So like automatically, de facto, it's going to succeed. Like it's Richard Heart's coin. It's going to be P-Hex is going to be marketed as Hex, and then E-Hex is like the cousin, not the other way around. So like boom, like it's done. It's going to succeed. And then you have the derivative products that are built on top of that. So if their value proposition is tied to Hex, Hex is going to succeed. You can therefore conclude that those things will also succeed too. So if anybody's looking for coins that was going to maintain value across the fork for something that's going to be copied over, the best bet is start with the foundation is Hex, then the derivative products, and then after that it's just pure speculation based on what you like.